The story begins not with sirens, not with flashing lights, but with something much simpler, a pair of 11-year-old twin girls and their loyal German shepherd, Max. Emma and Ella were inseparable. They looked alike, thought alike, and even finished each other's sentences. But their personalities were different. Emma was the cautious thinker, always planning ahead, while Ella was bold and impulsive, never afraid to act. Together, they made the perfect team. That evening, the twins had convinced their parents to let them walk Max alone. Their mother, a nurse at the local hospital, trusted them. After all, they had grown up learning about responsibility and first aid from her. Their father, a mechanic, always told them, "You don't need to be strong to be brave, you just need to do the right thing, even when it's hard." Those words would prove unforgettable. The sky was painted in hues of purple and orange as the sun dipped low. The girls laughed, chasing after Max as he sniffed around. The world felt safe. Ordinary. But life changes in a heartbeat. As they approached the old wooden bridge in the woods, Max froze. His ears shot up, his body stiff. The twins followed his gaze and saw a figure slumped against the ground. At first, they thought it was a homeless man asleep. But as they drew closer, their breath caught. It was a police officer. His uniform was ripped, his vest partly shredded, his side bleeding heavily. His face was pale, drenched in sweat, and his hand trembled as he tried to hold on to his radio. Emma's heart raced. "Ella, he's dying." The man's eyes fluttered open. He struggled to speak. "Ambush, men with guns, still close," his words faded into coughs, blood staining his lips. Ella grabbed her phone, but there was no signal. Panic hit her chest like a hammer. Emma forced herself to think. Their mother's voice echoed in her memory, "If someone is bleeding, apply pressure. Keep them talking. Don't let them drift off." She tore off her jacket, pressed it against the wound with both hands, and whispered, "Stay with us, sir. Please stay with us." The officer's name was Daniels. Later, the girls would learn he was one of the most respected men in the department. That night, he had been tracking a gang of armed robbers. But his backup had been delayed. Alone, he walked into their trap, and nearly didn't walk out. Now, bleeding in the woods, his life depended on 2 children and their dog. Daniels tried to reach for his gun but dropped it, too weak. "You need to go. They'll come back." But the twins didn't move. Ella shook her head fiercely. "No. We're not leaving you." Emma added, "Our dog can get help. Max, go home. Go." Max barked once, as if understanding, then sprinted through the trees, his paws pounding against the earth. For a while, the only sounds were Emma's strained breathing and Daniel's weak groans. Then, a twig snapped. The twins turned. Out of the shadows, 2 men emerged, faces covered with hoodies. One carried a bat, the other a knife. Their voices were low, menacing. "He's still alive," one sneered. "Didn't we tell you to finish him?" The girls' stomachs dropped. These were the men who had ambushed Daniels. "Kids," the other man laughed. "Get lost, this ain't your business." But Ella did something reckless. She grabbed the fallen officer's gun and pointed it at them. The weapon shook in her hands. "Stay back," she shouted, tears brimming in her eyes. The men chuckled. "Look at this, little girl thinks she's a hero." Emma's hands trembled on the jacket pressing into Daniel's wound. She wanted to scream, to run, but she remembered her father's words. Doing the right thing is never easy. Suddenly, Max's furious barking erupted from the distance. The men stiffened. Flashing red and blue lights pierced the darkness. Max had led the police straight to them. The criminals panicked. One turned to run, but Max lunged, knocking him into the dirt. The other raised his bat, but officers swarmed in, tackling him to the ground. The twins finally let out the breath they had been holding. Paramedics rushed in. Strong hands gently pulled Emma away as they lifted Daniels onto a stretcher. His hand brushed against theirs. "You saved me," he whispered before losing consciousness. The girls clung to each other, sobbing. For the first time, they let themselves feel the fear they had buried under courage. News spread fast. By morning, every channel was talking about the twins and their dog who had saved a cop's life. Neighbors came by with food and flowers. But the twins didn't feel like heroes. To them, they had just done what anyone should. A week later, Officer Daniels showed up at their door. He was pale but alive, leaning on a cane. His eyes glistened as he looked at the girls. "You didn't just save me," he said softly. "You gave me hope. I thought I was done for. But you didn't give up on me." The girls hugged him tightly. Months later, the police department held a ceremony. In front of hundreds, Daniels shared the story. "When I was ambushed, I thought that was it. But two little girls and their dogs stood against fear, against danger, and against men twice their size. They reminded me, and my whole department, that courage isn't about size or strength. It's about heart." The chief stepped forward, pinning medals onto Emma, Ella, and even Max, who wagged his tail proudly. The crowd erupted in applause, some wiping away tears. The twins looked at each other and smiled. They hadn't just saved a cop. They had proven that bravery can come from the most unexpected places. Bravery doesn't always wear a uniform. Sometimes, it wears pigtails and carries a leash. Sometimes, it comes in the form of children who refuse to walk away, or a dog who knows the way home. That night in the woods, Officer Daniels didn't just survive. A whole police force, and the whole town, was reminded that heroes can be found where you least expect them.